Welcome back to another video, guys, on the MX5. In the last video I mentioned about how hard it is to jack up the rear of the car. It can also be quite hard on the diff as well, so today we're going to solve that with this is the Davefab UK rear jacking bar. It goes on bolts on the factory locations of the tow hooks like these. It's simple, a couple of bolts on each side, and put this new one in its place. I have bought some new hardware, so these are replacements of the factory bolts bought from AutoLink. I'll put them in the description below. So let's get the old ones off and we'll get this on.
Yeah.
The car all jacked up, we can go underneath and I'll show you what bolts to undo. Okay, so underneath all the rust there are some bolts there, so we want to be moving that one, and on the other side it's exactly the same. Those two there, and then that one, and there is one on each side just a little further up there. I have previously soaked these in penetrant and I have actually loosened them off just to make this a little bit easier, but this one was a bit tough, so I'm actually going to cut it off because I don't want to snap it, because if I snap it then I can't put the new jacking bar. So we'll get cutting that off and then we'll get the rest loosened off. Using a Dremel and a cutting disc, I just started to take a small chunk out of the nut. With the small bit now drilled into, I'll just use the hammer and the screwdriver just to break it off from the nut. And again, using the Dremel just to cut a chunk of the nut off, and using the screwdriver and hammer to break it off. Once a good chunk of the nut has been taken off and the structural integrity of the nut has been weakened, I just use a pair of mall grips to grip onto it and screw it off where to treat. Moving on to the other 14mm nut, like I said previously, I'd already loosened it so it did come off straight away. And then moving on to the 12mm bolts at the sides. Just using a little extra penetrant halfway through as the bolt did start to get tough. And then just pull the bracket off. And moving on to the other side, starting off with the 14mm nuts again. Then onto the 12mm bolts, and once it's all removed, just pull it off the same as the other side. That's the two factory tow hooks now taken off, and the Davefab just literally bolts in those locations. So we'll get that leveled up now and use the new hardware to secure it in. Fitting the jacking bar is just the opposite of removing the tow hooks. Once it's in position, just secure it with the new hardware. I did put all the nuts and bolts on loosely at the same time, but I did tighten the 14mm nuts first, as that pushes the jacking bar into the car, and then the side bolts are just extra security. Bolts and nuts are a little more difficult now that the jacking bar is in place, as it's obviously a lot bulkier and takes up more room, but with a different assortment of ratchets it is possible. And that is the rear jacking bar from Davefab fitted. If we just go underneath, so it clears the exhaust easily, and that is the other side. So glad I went with the new hardware. It looks so much better, and I didn't have to worry about it not threading in or anything like that. So if I ever need to take it off in the future, nothing to worry about. I'm really pleased with it. Can't really see it much from the back end, so that's pretty much level with the car. But in the future, we'll be doing a bumper cut and getting rid of the fog light there, so that'll help with the appearance of the back end and being able to see the jacking bar. So with the car now back down, I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration of how easy it is to jack it up now that the rear jacking bar's in. Using the jacking bar was 100 times better. I was really happy with it. As you can see, I just used a cloth on my jack just not to scratch up the nice finish on the jacking bar. So that is the Davefab UK rear jacking bar for the MX5 Mark 1. I'm really happy with it. I think it's going to look really good when we do the bumper cut. As you saw in the last clip, it's super easy to jack it up now. You haven't got to worry about getting the jack super far underneath the car to get the diff. Super helpful on like drift days and track days if you just need to quickly get the car up. And it does look good, so I'm really happy with it. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.